Far away, nestled in the serene embrace of the Lika region, in a small village called Smiljan, lay a humble home. It was the year 1856, and the world outside was a symphony of soft summer sounds, soon to be joined by the gentle patter of rain. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and pine, a lullaby whispered by the ancient forests that cradled the village. Inside, a different kind of anticipation hummed, a quiet energy that filled every corner of the modest dwelling. On this particular night, the sky decided to put on a grand display. What began as a soft drizzle soon escalated into a magnificent midnight storm. Lightning, like fleeting thoughts of brilliance, streaked across the dark canvas above, illuminating the small house in sudden, stark flashes. Each crackle of thunder was a deep, resonant drumbeat, echoing through the valleys and shaking the very foundations of the earth. Yet within the home, amidst the tempest, a profound stillness settled, a calm that cradled a new beginning. It was during this dramatic overture of nature that a child was born, a tiny being destined to dream of light and harness the unseen forces of the world. The flashes of lightning on the night of his birth seemed to whisper a prophecy, a myth in the making. Some would say the sky itself was celebrating, acknowledging the arrival of a soul who would one day illuminate the darkest corners of human understanding. The storm, rather than a harbinger of chaos, felt like a powerful, cleansing embrace, preparing the world for the quiet revolution this child would bring. His mother, Juka Mandik, was a woman of remarkable ingenuity and endless creativity. Though she never received a formal education, her hands were always busy, weaving intricate patterns, crafting useful tools, and inventing practical devices for their home and farm. Her mind was a wellspring of solutions, her spirit a testament to the power of observation and practical application. She possessed a sharp memory, capable of recalling thousands of poems and folk songs, and her ability to solve complex problems in her head was a constant source of wonder to young Nikola. It was from her that he inherited the spark of invention, the restless curiosity that would drive him throughout his life. Her gentle presence and inventive spirit were the first lessons he learned, etched into the very fabric of his being. His father, Nikola Tesla, was an Orthodox priest, a man of deep thought and eloquent words. He was a gifted storyteller, his voice a soothing balm that could transport listeners to distant lands in ancient times. His sermons were not merely religious teachings but rich tapestries of wisdom, woven with parables and philosophical insights. He encouraged young Nikola to sharpen his mind, to delve into the depths of knowledge, and to appreciate the beauty of language. From his father, Nikola learned the power of narrative, the art of persuasion, and the importance of intellectual rigor. The quiet evenings spent listening to his father's tales were formative, nurturing a mind that would later construct grand narratives of scientific discovery. In this nurturing environment, surrounded by the wild beauty of Smiljan and the intellectual richness of his parents, young Nikola began to show early signs of his extraordinary imagination and profound sensitivity. He was a child who saw the world differently, whose inner landscape was as vivid and expansive as the sprawling fields and towering mountains around him. He would often wander off, lost in thought, observing the intricate dance of nature, the flow of water, the patterns of light and shadow. His senses were finely tuned, picking up nuances that others might miss, a heightened awareness that would later contribute to his unique insights and sometimes his struggles. His sensitivity was not a weakness but a conduit, allowing him to perceive the subtle energies that permeated the world. He felt the vibrations of the earth, the hum of unseen forces, and the silent language of the natural world. This deep connection to his surroundings, combined with an insatiable curiosity, fueled his early explorations. He was a dreamer, yes, but a dreamer with a keen eye for detail and a relentless drive to understand how things worked. Even as a very young boy, he possessed an innate understanding of mechanics, a natural inclination to tinker and build. He was often found dismantling household items, not out of mischief, but out of a burning desire to comprehend their inner workings. Calmly, the narration settles, like the quiet after a storm, reflecting on how this child, born amidst the midnight sparks, was destined to dream of light. His journey began in this tranquil village, a place where the rhythm of life was dictated by the seasons and the whispers of the wind. It was here, in the heart of Smiljan, that the seeds of his future were sown, watered by the gentle rains and nurtured by the love and wisdom of his parents. The quiet nights in Smiljan, punctuated by the distant calls of nocturnal creatures and the soft glow of the moon, were the first canvases upon which his brilliant mind began to paint its extraordinary visions. He was a child of the night, born under a sky ablaze with electric promise, and his destiny was to bring that promise to the world, one spark at a time. And so, as the storm subsided and the stars began to peek through the clearing clouds, a new light had indeed entered the world, a light that would forever change its course. As young Nikola grew, so too did his curious mind, blossoming amidst the natural wonders of Smiljan. His childhood was a tapestry woven with obsessions, not with toys or games like other children, but with the intricate workings of nature. He was captivated by the flow of water, spending hours by the local stream, mesmerized by the rhythmic turning of watermills. He would watch the gears and paddles, his mind already dissecting their mechanics, imagining ways to make them more efficient, more powerful. The gurgling of the stream and the creaking of the mill became a soothing soundtrack to his early explorations, a gentle hum that resonated with the nascent stirrings of his inventive spirit. His photographic memory was a gift, allowing him to absorb and retain vast amounts of information with effortless ease. He could recall entire books after a single reading, and complex diagrams would imprint themselves upon his mind with perfect clarity. This extraordinary ability, however, often led him into deep, contemplative states, what others might call daydreaming. But for Nikola, these were not idle reveries. They were vibrant, internal worlds where ideas took shape, where machines hummed to life in his imagination long before they existed in reality. He would close his eyes and see intricate mechanisms, gears turning, currents flowing, all in perfect, silent operation. These daydreams were his first laboratories, boundless spaces where he could experiment without limits. Even in his boyhood, the signs of a future inventor were unmistakable. His hands, though small, were always busy, driven by an insatiable desire to create. One of his earliest inventions was a small turbine, meticulously crafted from wood, designed to harness the power of a nearby waterfall. He spent countless hours whittling and shaping, his brow furrowed in concentration, his eyes alight with determination. The thrill of seeing his creation spin, powered by the very water he had observed so intently, was a profound joy, a confirmation of the unseen forces he felt so keenly. He also famously attempted to build a perpetual motion machine, a testament to his early fascination with endless energy and efficiency, even if the laws of physics would later prove his youthful ambition impossible. But perhaps his most defining habit was his solitary walks. He would often venture into the fields and forests surrounding Smiljan, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts and visions. As he walked, he wouldn't just see the trees and the sky. He would see flashes of inspiration, sudden, vivid images of machines and devices. These were not abstract concepts but fully formed designs, complete with every detail, every wire, every connection. It was during one of these walks, years later, that the revolutionary idea of the rotating magnetic field for alternating current would burst into his consciousness, a moment of pure, unadulterated genius born from the quiet contemplation of nature. The rhythm of his footsteps on the earth seemed to synchronize with the rhythm of his thoughts, guiding him towards breakthroughs that would reshape the world. These early experiences, the quiet observations, the vivid daydreams, the hands-on creations, and the solitary walks filled with flashes of insight, all contributed to the awakening of a truly unique mind. Young Nikola was not merely learning about the world. He was actively engaging with it, questioning its mechanisms and imagining new possibilities. The calm, unhurried pace of life in Smiljan allowed his genius to unfurl naturally, like a delicate flower opening to the morning sun. He was a child touched by destiny, a dreamer whose visions would one day illuminate the world, guided by the gentle whispers of his own curious mind. And as the sun set over the rolling hills of his homeland, casting long, peaceful shadows, Nikola Tesla, the boy who saw sparks in the ordinary, drifted into dreams, ready for the next chapter of his extraordinary journey. As Nikola transitioned from the pastoral tranquility of Smiljan to the more structured world of schooling, his journey led him to Karlovac, a town that, while larger, still held the quiet charm of the Croatian landscape. Here, his fascination with electricity, which had begun as a gentle hum in his mind, intensified into a vibrant, undeniable force. He was captivated by demonstrations of electrical phenomena, the crackling sparks, the mysterious glow of early lights. Each display was a revelation, pulling him deeper into the invisible world of currents and charges. He saw not just a scientific curiosity, but a profound, almost magical energy that held the promise of transforming the world. His school years were marked by a peculiar duality. On one hand, his photographic memory, a gift that had served him so well in his early observations, allowed him to absorb lectures and textbooks with astonishing speed. He could recall entire passages, formulas, and diagrams with perfect accuracy, often astonishing his teachers. Yet despite this remarkable ability, he sometimes struggled in his studies, not from a lack of intelligence, but from an overwhelming desire to delve deeper, to understand the underlying principles rather than simply memorizing facts. His mind was constantly racing ahead, exploring tangents, imagining applications, and questioning the very foundations of what he was being taught. This often led to him being perceived as distracted or even rebellious, when in truth, he was simply operating on a different intellectual plane. It was during these formative years that a profound tragedy struck, casting a long shadow over young Nikola's inner world. His older brother, Dane, a brilliant and charismatic boy, died in a horseback riding accident. The loss was devastating, not just for the family but for Nikola personally. Dane had been a guiding light, a source of inspiration and companionship. Nikola had looked up to him, admired his intellect and his vibrant spirit. The sudden, senseless nature of Dane's death left a deep wound, a trauma that would subtly shape Nikola's personality and his approach to life. He retreated further into himself, finding solace in the quiet solitude of his thoughts, in the intricate world of his imagination. This period of grief, though painful, also served as a crucible, forging a deeper inner silence within him. The external world, with its demands and its sorrows, became less compelling than the rich, vibrant landscape of his own mind. He learned to find comfort in his internal visions, in the silent hum of ideas that constantly flowed through him. This quiet introspection, born from sorrow, became a sanctuary, a place where his most profound insights would later emerge. It was a time when the world seemed to dim, but within him, a different kind of light began to glow, fueled by the quiet determination to honor his brother's memory through his own pursuit of knowledge and discovery. Calmly, the narrative reflects on how grief, a silent sculptor, shaped his inner world. The vibrant, curious boy of Smiljan was now a student of sparks, not just of electricity, but of the profound energies of life and loss. The quiet sorrow he carried became a part of his unique genius, deepening his empathy and sharpening his focus. He learned to navigate the complexities of his own mind, finding strength in solitude and inspiration in the unseen. The lessons learned in Karlovac, both academic and emotional, laid the groundwork for the extraordinary path he was destined to walk, a path illuminated by the very sparks he sought to understand, both in the world and within himself. And as the night deepened and the stars began to twinkle over Karlovac, Nikola, the student of sparks, drifted into a peaceful slumber, his mind already dreaming of the next great discovery. With his school years behind him, Nikola's intellectual journey led him to the grand halls of the Polytechnic Institute in Graz, and later, the University of Prague. These were not just places of learning, they were crucibles where his ideas, once nascent sparks, began to coalesce into a powerful vision. It was during these years that the concept of alternating current, a revolutionary idea that would challenge the very foundations of electrical engineering, began to firmly take root in his mind. He saw its potential not just as an improvement, but as a complete paradigm shift, a way to deliver power more efficiently and widely than ever before. His obsession with alternating current was all-consuming. He would spend countless hours in the laboratories, poring over diagrams, sketching new designs, and debating theories with his professors and peers. The conventional wisdom of direct current, championed by the likes of Thomas Edison, seemed limited and inefficient to him. He envisioned a world powered by the rhythmic ebb and flow of alternating current, a system that could transmit energy across vast distances with minimal loss. This vision consumed his every waking moment, and often his sleeping ones too. This intense dedication, however, came at a cost. Nikola was known for his extreme work ethic, often neglecting his own well-being in pursuit of his intellectual passions. He would study for days on end with little sleep, fueled only by his relentless curiosity and the burning desire to solve the complex puzzles that danced in his mind. This relentless pace eventually took its toll, and he fell gravely ill, his body succumbing to the strain of his overwork. It was a period of profound physical and mental exhaustion, a stark reminder of the delicate balance between genius and self-preservation. Yet even in the throes of illness, his mind remained active, perhaps even more so. It was during these periods of feverish rest that his early visions of machines powered by unseen forces became even more vivid and tangible. He would lie in bed, his eyes closed, and witness intricate electrical systems operating flawlessly, their components humming with an invisible energy. These were not mere fantasies. They were detailed blueprints, complete with every wire, every coil, every connection. He saw rotating magnetic fields, invisible forces that could turn motors and generate power, a concept that seemed almost magical in its simplicity and elegance. These visions were so real, so compelling, that they transcended the boundaries of his physical suffering, offering a glimpse into a future he was determined to bring to life. These were the years when Nikola Tesla truly began to dream beyond borders, not just the geographical borders of his homeland, but the conceptual borders of conventional science. He was pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible, daring to imagine a world transformed by the invisible dance of electricity. The quiet hum of the laboratory, the rustle of turning pages, and the silent battles within his own mind all contributed to the forging of a visionary. And as the European nights deepened, and the city lights twinkled outside his window, Nikola, the student of sparks, drifted into a restless sleep, his dreams filled with the silent, powerful hum of alternating current, waiting to be unleashed upon the world. After his intense years of study, Nikola Tesla embarked on a new phase of his life, one that saw him become a wanderer, moving across Europe in pursuit of practical experience and new opportunities. His early engineering jobs took him to various cities, each a stepping stone in his evolving understanding of electrical systems. He worked in Budapest, Paris, and Strasbourg, gaining hands-on experience with telegraphy, telephony, and the nascent electrical power systems of the era. These were years of diligent work, of applying theoretical knowledge to real-world problems, and of observing the limitations of existing technologies. It was in Budapest in the year 1882 that a moment of profound revelation occurred, a true eureka moment that would forever change the course of electrical engineering. Nikola was walking in the city park with a friend reciting poetry, when suddenly an idea, fully formed and brilliant, flashed into his mind. He didn't just conceive of the alternating current motor, he saw it. He saw the rotating magnetic field, an invisible force that could turn a motor without the need for commutators or brushes, the problematic components that plagued direct current motors. It was a vision of elegant simplicity and revolutionary potential. He didn't just think about it. He sketched it in the dirt with a stick, explaining the principles to his astonished friend. The park, with its rustling leaves and gentle breezes, became the birthplace of a technology that would power the modern world. This was the culmination of years of quiet contemplation, of those vivid daydreams and flashes of inspiration he had experienced since childhood. The idea wasn't a sudden bolt from the blue, but rather the blossoming of seeds that had been planted long ago, nurtured by his relentless curiosity and his unique way of seeing the unseen. This eureka moment, told in a poetic sleep story style, was a dream born in stillness. It was a testament to the power of a mind that could find profound scientific truths amidst the mundane, that could see the intricate dance of electrons in the simple act of walking through a park. The gentle rustle of the leaves, the distant murmur of the city, all faded into the background as the vision consumed him. It was a moment of pure clarity, a perfect alignment of his inner world with the external reality, where the abstract became concrete and the impossible seemed within reach. Calm reflection settles upon this pivotal moment. Nikola Tesla, the wanderer, had found his true north. The rotating magnetic field, a concept so fundamental yet so elusive, had finally revealed itself to him. It was a quiet revolution, born not in a bustling laboratory, but in the peaceful embrace of nature. This discovery would set him on a path that would lead him across the Atlantic, to new challenges and greater triumphs. And as the European sun began its slow descent, casting long, peaceful shadows across the park, Nikola, the dreamer, drifted into a serene sleep, his mind already humming with the silent, powerful rhythm of the alternating current, ready to bring his vision to the world. With the vision of the rotating magnetic field burning brightly in his mind, Nikola Tesla knew that Europe, with its established scientific orthodoxies, was not the place to bring his revolutionary ideas to life. His gaze turned westward, across the vast expanse of the Atlantic, to America, a land of opportunity, of bold ideas, and of relentless progress. In 1884, with little more than a few coins in his pocket, a book of poetry, and a letter of introduction to Thomas Edison, he embarked on the journey that would change his life and the world forever. His arrival in New York was a stark contrast to the quiet, pastoral landscapes of his youth. The city was a cacophony of sounds, a whirlwind of activity, a relentless, pulsating hub of human ambition. The towering buildings, the bustling streets, the sheer, unadulterated energy of the place was both exhilarating and overwhelming. For a man as sensitive as Tesla, it was a sensory onslaught, a world away from the gentle rhythms of Smiljan. Yet it was also a place that mirrored the restless energy of his own mind, a city that never slept, much like his own inventive spirit. Soon after his arrival, he secured a meeting with the man who was already a legend in the world of electricity, Thomas Edison. The two men were a study in contrasts. Edison, the pragmatic, business-minded inventor, was focused on practical applications and commercial success. He was a man of tireless experimentation, of trial and error, of 1,000 small, incremental improvements. Tesla, on the other hand, was a visionary, a dreamer who saw the world in terms of grand, sweeping principles. He was a man of profound insight, of sudden, brilliant flashes of genius. Their meeting was a collision of two different worlds, two different ways of thinking. Edison, impressed by Tesla's intellect and work ethic, hired him to work at his laboratory. Tesla, in turn, was eager to prove his worth, to demonstrate the superiority of his alternating current system. He worked day and night, his mind a whirlwind of ideas, his hands tirelessly improving Edison's direct current dynamos. He was a man on a mission, driven by the quiet confidence of his own vision. He was an immigrant, a stranger in a strange land, but his resilience, His ability to adapt and to persevere grew with each passing day. However, the collaboration was not destined to last. A dispute over a promised bonus for his work on improving Edison's dynamos led to a bitter falling out. The broken promise was a harsh lesson in the realities of the business world, a world where ideas were not just about scientific truth, but about profit and power. Disillusioned but not defeated, Tesla left Edison's employ, his dreams of a partnership shattered. He was once again on his own, a solitary figure in a bustling city, his revolutionary ideas still waiting to be unleashed. This period of struggle, though difficult, was also a time of profound growth. It was a crucible that tested his resolve, that forced him to rely on his own inner strength. He learned to navigate the treacherous waters of the American industrial landscape, to find his own way in a world that was not always receptive to new ideas. And as the nights in New York deepened, and the city lights twinkled like a million distant stars, Nikola Tesla, the dreamer from a distant land, drifted into a restless sleep, his mind already plotting the next chapter of his extraordinary journey, a chapter that would see him rise from the ashes of his broken partnership and ignite a war of currents that would forever change the face of the world. After his departure from Edison's laboratory, Nikola Tesla found himself at the heart of what would become known as the War of Currents. On one side stood Thomas Edison, a staunch advocate for direct current DC, a system that had already found widespread adoption but suffered from significant limitations, particularly in long-distance transmission. On the other side was Tesla, with his revolutionary vision of alternating current AC, a system he believed was inherently superior, more efficient, and capable of truly electrifying the world. This was not merely a scientific debate. It was a fierce commercial and ideological battle. Edison, with his established reputation and powerful financial backing, launched a relentless campaign to discredit AC, often resorting to sensational and fear-mongering tactics, including publicly electrocuting animals to demonstrate the supposed dangers of alternating current. It was a dark chapter in the history of electricity, a testament to the lengths to which established interests would go to protect their dominance. Amidst this escalating conflict, Tesla found a crucial ally in George Westinghouse. Westinghouse, a shrewd businessman and visionary inventor in his own right, recognized the immense potential of Tesla's AC system. He saw beyond the fear-mongering and understood that alternating current was the future of power distribution. Their partnership was a powerful synergy. Tesla, the brilliant inventor, and Westinghouse, the industrialist with the resources and foresight to bring Tesla's inventions to the world. Westinghouse's support was a lifeline for Tesla, providing him with the financial backing and the platform he needed to develop and implement his AC technologies. Tesla's spirit during this period was quiet but determined. He was not a showman like Edison, nor was he driven by the same commercial ambitions. His motivation was a pure, almost spiritual belief in the elegance and efficiency of alternating current. He envisioned a world where electricity was abundant and accessible to everyone, a world transformed by the silent hum of AC power. His dream for AC electricity was not just about technology. It was about progress, about illuminating lives and empowering communities. He remained focused on his work, refining his designs and proving the practical superiority of his system, even as the public debate raged around him. Calm storytelling now recounts the quiet triumphs amidst the storm. It was during this period that Tesla's induction motor, a marvel of engineering that utilized his rotating magnetic field principle, began to gain traction. This motor, simple yet revolutionary, was a key component in the widespread adoption of AC power. It was a testament to Tesla's genius, a quiet but powerful answer to Edison's aggressive campaign. The induction motor, along with other AC innovations, slowly but surely began to win over engineers and industrialists, proving that Tesla's vision was not just a dream, but a practical reality. And so, as the war of currents continued to unfold, a silent revolution was taking place. The sparks of conflict, though intense, ultimately served to highlight the brilliance of Tesla's ideas. His quiet determination, his unwavering belief in the power of alternating current, and the crucial support of Westinghouse, slowly but surely began to turn the tide. As the night deepened, and the distant hum of nascent power grids began to fill the air, Nikola Tesla, the quiet visionary, drifted into a peaceful sleep, his dreams filled with the silent, rhythmic pulse of alternating current, a testament to his enduring legacy. In the year 1893, a grand spectacle unfolded in Chicago, a city that pulsed with the vibrant energy of American ambition. It was the world's Columbian Exposition, a monumental fair designed to showcase the marvels of human ingenuity and progress. But more than just an exhibition, it was to be a dazzling display of light, a testament to the power that could transform night into day. And at the heart of this luminous transformation stood Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse. The task was immense: to illuminate the entire fairgrounds, a sprawling landscape of magnificent buildings and bustling avenues. The contract was fiercely contested, with Edison's General Electric pushing for direct current. But Westinghouse, armed with Tesla's superior alternating current system, won the bid. It was a victory not just for a company, but for a vision of efficient, far-reaching power that could truly light up the world. As dusk settled over Chicago, a hush would fall upon the fairgrounds, a moment of anticipation before the grand unveiling. Then, with a quiet hum, the lights would flicker to life, thousands upon thousands of incandescent bulbs glowing with a soft, warm radiance. The beauty of light glowing at night was breathtaking, transforming the fair into a magical wonderland. The awe of the people was palpable, their faces illuminated by the gentle glow, their murmurs of wonder rising like a collective sigh. They strolled through avenues bathed in an ethereal glow, marveling at fountains that shimmered with reflected light, and buildings that stood like luminous sculptures against the night sky. This moment was told in a dreamy, almost magical bedtime tone, a story of how light, once a luxury, became a democratic marvel. Tesla's AC system made it possible to distribute electricity efficiently and economically, bringing the wonder of electric light to the masses. It was a silent revolution, a gentle unfolding of a future where darkness would no longer hold sway. The fair became a living, breathing demonstration of AC superiority, a powerful rebuttal to the fear-mongering of the war of currents. The soft glow of the bulbs, the rhythmic hum of the generators, all contributed to a sense of peace and progress, a lullaby of innovation. This moment, more than any other, changed the world's nights forever. The World's Fair of Lights was not just a temporary spectacle, it was a glimpse into the future, a future where homes, streets, and cities would be bathed in the steady, reliable glow of electric light. It was a triumph of vision, of perseverance, and of the quiet genius of Nikola Tesla. And as the memory of those luminous nights in Chicago settled into the collective consciousness, a new understanding of light began to dawn. As the soft glow of the moon outside your window gently illuminates your room, imagine the wonder of those fairgrounds and drift into a peaceful sleep, knowing that the sparks he dreamed of continue to light our world. With the triumph of alternating current at the World's Fair, Nikola Tesla's mind soared beyond mere illumination. He envisioned a world not just lit by electricity, but powered wirelessly, a grand, sweeping dream of energy transmitted through the very air, accessible to all. This was his most ambitious vision yet, a global system of wireless power and communication, a network that would connect humanity without the need for cumbersome wires. It was a dream born of his deep understanding of resonance and vibrations, a belief that the earth itself could be made to hum with electrical energy. To bring this magnificent dream to life, he began construction on what would become his most iconic and perhaps most tragic endeavor, the Wardenclyffe Tower. Located on Long Island, New York, This towering structure with its distinctive mushroom-shaped top was more than just an antenna. It was a symbol of hope, a physical manifestation of Tesla's boundless optimism. He poured his heart, his intellect, and every resource he could muster into its construction. He envisioned it as the first node in a global network, a beacon that would broadcast energy and information across oceans, connecting continents and bringing light to the remotest corners of the Earth. His dream was to send energy across oceans, to provide free, abundant power to everyone everywhere. Imagine, for a moment, a world where light flowed like water, where machines hummed to life without being tethered to a grid, where information traveled instantaneously across vast distances. This was the future Tesla saw, a future of unprecedented abundance and connectivity. He believed that such a system would eliminate poverty, foster peace, and elevate humanity to a new level of existence. It was a dream of universal access, a truly democratic distribution of the most vital resource of the modern age. Yet this grand vision was also narrated as a gentle tale of ambition and loneliness. Tesla, ever the solitary genius, found himself increasingly isolated in his pursuit of this dream. The scale of his ambition was difficult for others to grasp, and the financial backing he needed was immense. Investors, accustomed to more immediate and tangible returns, grew wary of a project that seemed to defy conventional understanding. The very vastness of his vision, its almost utopian scope, made it difficult to secure the sustained support required for such a monumental undertaking. He worked tirelessly, often alone, driven by an unwavering conviction in the righteousness of his cause, even as the world around him struggled to keep pace with his soaring intellect. As the moon cast its gentle glow upon the unfinished tower at Wardenclyffe, a silent testament to a dream too grand for its time, Nikola Tesla, the visionary, drifted into a restless sleep. His dreams were filled with the silent hum of wireless energy, the invisible currents flowing across the globe, connecting minds and illuminating lives. He saw a world bathed in the light of his invention, a world where scarcity was a distant memory. Though the tower would ultimately stand as an unfulfilled promise, a monument to a future that was yet to be, the dream it represented, the dream of sending energy across oceans, continued to glow brightly in his mind, an eternal spark waiting for its moment to ignite the world. To further his grand vision of wireless power, Nikola Tesla ventured west to the high plains of Colorado Springs. This remote location, with its frequent thunderstorms and thin, dry air, was the perfect natural laboratory for his most ambitious and dramatic experiments. Here, far from the bustling skepticism of New York, he could unleash the full power of his imagination and his machines, pushing the boundaries of electrical science to their very limits. His laboratory in Colorado Springs was a place of wonder and spectacle. Giant coils, meticulously crafted, stood like silent sentinels, waiting to be brought to life. When activated, they would unleash thunderous crackles of electricity, sending bolts of artificial lightning arcing across the room. The air would fill with the sharp, clean scent of ozone, and the very ground would hum with the immense power being generated. These were not just experiments. They were performances, a symphony of light and sound that hinted at the invisible forces at play. Imagine, if you will, a calm but dramatic scene. The night sky outside, often alive with natural thunderstorms, mirrored by the man-made lightning within the lab. Giant sparks would leap from the coils, illuminating the interior with a blinding, momentary brilliance. The air would vibrate with the energy, and the distant mountains would echo with the thunderous reports. Yet, amidst this raw power, there was a profound sense of control, a quiet mastery. Tesla, ever the conductor of these electrical orchestras, moved with a serene confidence, his mind already anticipating the next breakthrough. Describing these experiments is like watching a firefly show under the stars, but on a cosmic scale. Each spark, each flash was a tiny revelation, a glimpse into the hidden language of the universe. Tesla was not just generating electricity, He was communing with it, understanding its rhythms, its potential. He observed how the earth itself resonated with electrical impulses, how the very atmosphere could be a conduit for energy. He studied standing waves, the subtle vibrations that could carry power across vast distances, laying the groundwork for radio communication and beyond. In this isolated laboratory, Tesla found a profound solitude, a space where his endless curiosity could roam free, unburdened by the distractions and demands of the outside world. He worked tirelessly, often through the night, his only companions the hum of his machines and the silent, watchful stars. The solitude was not a burden but a blessing, allowing him to delve deeper into the mysteries of the universe, to pursue his visions with an unwavering focus. He was a lone explorer, charting unknown territories in the realm of electricity, driven by an insatiable desire to understand and to harness the invisible forces that shaped the world. And so, as the Colorado night deepened, and the distant rumble of thunder mingled with the crackle of his coils, Nikola Tesla, the solitary experimenter, drifted into a peaceful sleep. His dreams were filled with the silent dance of electrons, the invisible currents that connected everything, and the promise of a world bathed in the light of his wireless power. The experiments at midnight were not just about science. They were about a profound connection to the universe, a quiet conversation with the very fabric of reality, a conversation that would continue to echo through the ages. As Nikola Tesla's fame grew, so too did the stories of his eccentric habits and strict routines. These were not mere quirks, but deeply ingrained patterns that governed his life, a testament to a mind that operated on a different frequency than most. He was a creature of habit, his days meticulously structured, his environment carefully controlled to minimize distractions and maximize his creative output. He would often dine alone, counting his chewing motions and meticulously polishing his silverware until it gleamed. These rituals, though peculiar to others, were his way of maintaining order in a mind that was constantly buzzing with complex ideas. One of the most striking aspects of his life was his celibacy. Tesla believed that romantic relationships and family life would interfere with his scientific work, diverting his energy and focus from his grander purpose. He dedicated his entire being to the pursuit of knowledge and invention, seeing himself as a servant to humanity's progress. This choice, while perhaps isolating, allowed him an unparalleled intensity of focus, a singular devotion to his work that few could match. His sensitivity to light and sound was also legendary. He found bright lights and loud noises almost physically painful, often retreating from crowded places to the quiet solitude of his laboratory or hotel room. His senses were finely tuned, picking up nuances that others simply filtered out, a heightened awareness that contributed to both his genius and his unique challenges. In his later years, as his human connections dwindled, Tesla found companionship in an unexpected place: pigeons. He would often visit the parks of New York, feeding the birds and developing a particular fondness for one white pigeon, which he claimed to love as one would a human being. He believed that animals possessed a profound intelligence, and his conversations with pigeons were not merely the ramblings of an old man, but a genuine connection with another form of consciousness. He also held a deep belief in higher energies, in a universal consciousness that permeated all things. He spoke of the universe as a vast, interconnected system, where thoughts and ideas could be transmitted and received, a concept that bordered on the mystical, yet was rooted in his understanding of vibrations and resonance. This chapter is told gently to show the inner quiet of a restless mind. Tesla's eccentricities were not a sign of madness, but rather the outward manifestations of an extraordinary inner world. His solitude was not emptiness, but a space filled with the silent hum of invention, the constant flow of ideas, and a profound connection to the unseen forces of the universe. He was a man who lived largely within his own mind, a vast and intricate landscape of scientific principles, philosophical insights, and poetic visions. His conversations with pigeons, his meticulous routines, his aversion to sensory overload, all were part of the delicate balance he maintained to nurture his genius. And so, as the city lights outside dimmed and the world settled into its nightly rhythm, Nikola Tesla, the man of mysteries, drifted into a peaceful sleep. His dreams were not of the bustling world, but of the quiet inner workings of the universe, of the unseen energies that connected all things, and of the silent, profound conversations he held with the world around him. His mind, though restless, found its own unique calm, a quiet sanctuary where the sparks of his genius continued to glow, illuminating the profound mysteries of his own extraordinary mind. As the years passed, the brilliant light of Nikola Tesla's early triumphs began to dim, cast into shadow by the harsh realities of the financial world. Despite his groundbreaking inventions and his profound contributions to electrical science, Tesla found himself increasingly entangled in a web of financial troubles. His grand visions, particularly the ambitious Wardenclyffe Tower, required immense capital, and the investors who had once been eager to back his projects grew wary. They sought quick returns, tangible profits, and a clear path to commercialization, things that Tesla, with his focus on pure science and long-term societal benefit, often struggled to provide. His once celebrated genius, which had illuminated the World's Fair and promised a future of wireless power, now seemed to be overshadowed by his inability to translate his inventions into immediate commercial success. The very qualities that made him a visionary, his uncompromising pursuit of scientific truth, his disinterest in personal wealth, and his sometimes poor business acumen, became his undoing in the cutthroat world of industrial finance. He was a man ahead of his time, and the world, it seemed, was not yet ready for the full scope of his dreams. One by one, investors abandoned him. The financial support for Wardenclyffe dried up, leaving the magnificent tower unfinished, a silent, skeletal monument to a dream unfulfilled. The grand vision of free, abundant wireless energy, once so close to realization, slowly faded into the realm of what-ifs. The tower, which was meant to be a beacon of progress, became a symbol of his financial struggles, a stark reminder of the chasm between his scientific brilliance and the practicalities of funding such revolutionary endeavors. As his financial woes deepened, Tesla's living situation became increasingly precarious. The once renowned inventor, who had hobnobbed with the elite and electrified entire cities, found himself working and living in hotel rooms. These were not grand suites but modest accommodations, where he continued his experiments, often in secret, surrounded by his notes and his pigeons. The contrast between his earlier fame and his current circumstances was stark, a poignant testament to the fickle nature of public acclaim and financial support. He was a man who had given so much to the world, yet found himself struggling to maintain a stable existence. The fading of Wardenclyffe Tower was perhaps the most painful symbol of this struggle. It represented not just a failed project, but a lost future, a world that could have been. The dream of sending energy across oceans, of connecting humanity through an invisible web of power, remained just that, a dream. Yet, even in these shadows of struggle, Tesla's spirit remained unbroken. He continued to invent, to theorize, to dream, his mind a tireless engine of innovation, even as the world around him seemed to forget his immense contributions. And so, as the night deepened, and the city lights outside twinkled, powered by the very alternating current he had championed, Nikola Tesla, the genius in the shadows, drifted into a restless sleep. His dreams were filled with the silent hum of his unbuilt machines, the faint glow of the Wardenclyffe Tower, and the whispers of a future that still awaited his profound insights. The struggles were real, the shadows long, but within his mind, the sparks of invention continued to glow, a testament to an indomitable spirit that refused to be extinguished. Even as the shadows of financial struggle lengthened, Nikola Tesla's mind remained a fertile ground for invention, constantly conceiving of new devices and systems that were often decades, if not a century, ahead of their time. His later years, though marked by isolation and hardship, were still filled with the whispers of invention, ideas that flowed from his restless intellect like an endless stream. He continued to envision a future transformed by technology, a world where his radical concepts would one day find their rightful place. Among these futuristic visions were concepts that seemed almost fantastical to his contemporaries. He spoke of a death ray, a particle beam weapon that could defend nations, a concept that would later be explored in military science. He delved deeper into wireless communication, envisioning a global network of information exchange, a precursor to the internet and modern wireless technologies. He even conceived of remote-controlled vehicles, demonstrating a radio-controlled boat in Madison Square Garden in 1898, a feat that astonished the public and laid the groundwork for robotics and drone technology. These were not mere musings. They were detailed blueprints in his mind, often accompanied by elaborate calculations and diagrams. Many of his inventions and ideas were simply too advanced for his time. The technology to fully realize them did not yet exist, and the scientific community, often steeped in conventional thinking, struggled to grasp the full implications of his radical concepts. His patents, though numerous, often lay dormant, waiting for the world to catch up to his extraordinary foresight. He was a lone voice, speaking a language that few understood, a prophet of a technological future that was still beyond the horizon. The very brilliance of his mind, its ability to leap far ahead, sometimes left him isolated, his ideas dismissed as impractical or even impossible. Calmly, we portray him as a dreamer speaking to the future. Imagine him in his quiet hotel room, surrounded by his notes, his mind traversing the vast landscapes of time and possibility. He wasn't just inventing, he was communicating with a future generation, leaving behind breadcrumbs of genius for those who would one day be ready to follow. His later inventions, though often unbuilt or misunderstood, were a testament to his unwavering belief in progress, his conviction that humanity's potential was limitless. He saw beyond the immediate, beyond the limitations of his era, and into a world where his wildest dreams would become everyday realities. And so, as the night deepened, and the city lights outside hummed with the power he had championed, Nikola Tesla, the eternal inventor, drifted into a peaceful sleep. His dreams were filled with the silent whir of machines yet to be built, the invisible waves of communication spanning the globe, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that his whispers of invention would one day echo through the ages, guiding humanity towards a future he had so vividly imagined. His legacy was not just in what he built, but in the seeds of possibility he planted, seeds that would continue to blossom long after he was gone. In the twilight of his life, Nikola Tesla, once a celebrated figure who had illuminated the world, found himself increasingly alone in the bustling hotels of New York City. The grand visions of his youth had largely gone unfulfilled, and the financial struggles of his later years had left him isolated, a solitary genius in a world that had moved on, often without fully recognizing the profound impact of his earlier work. Yet even in this solitude, his days maintained a quiet rhythm, a gentle reflection of a life lived in pursuit of the extraordinary. His daily walks were a cherished ritual. He would venture out into the city, not to engage with the crowds but to observe, to think, and to connect with the one constant source of comfort in his later years, the pigeons. He would carry bags of seeds, scattering them for his feathered friends, a silent communion with the creatures he felt understood him best. There was a particular white pigeon, injured and frail, that he nursed back to health, a bond that transcended the ordinary, a testament to his deep empathy and his unique way of seeing the world. These quiet moments, feeding pigeons in the park, were a poignant contrast to the thunderous experiments of his past, a gentle winding down of a life that had once been so full of sparks and grand pronouncements. His reflection was quiet, almost meditative. He spent his days lost in thought, revisiting his theories, refining his concepts, and perhaps dreaming of what might have been. The world outside was a blur of activity, but within his mind a profound stillness reigned. He was a man who had seen the future, who had touched the very fabric of the universe, and now, in his final years, he was content to simply be, to observe, to reflect on the vast tapestry of his life. The hum of the city, the distant sounds of traffic, all faded into a gentle background noise, allowing his mind to wander freely through the landscapes of his memories and his unbuilt dreams. On January 7, 1943, in his room at the New Yorker Hotel, Nikola Tesla passed away in solitude. The world, embroiled in the chaos of war, barely noticed the quiet departure of one of its greatest minds. There were no grand pronouncements, no public mourning, just the silent closing of a chapter in the history of human ingenuity. It was a gentle narration, like a candle slowly dimming, its flame having burned so brightly for so long, now finally at peace. The man who had dreamed of illuminating the entire world, who had harnessed the very power of lightning, left this earthly plane as quietly as he had arrived, leaving behind a legacy that would only truly be appreciated decades later. And so, as the night deepens and the world outside settles into a quiet slumber, we reflect on the final days of Nikola Tesla. His solitude was not loneliness, but a chosen path, a space where his extraordinary mind could continue its silent work. His passing was not an end, but a transition, a gentle fading into the vastness of time, leaving behind a trail of sparks that would continue to ignite the imaginations of generations to come. The quiet dignity of his final days, spent in contemplation and communion with nature, serves as a poignant reminder that true greatness often resides not in the clamor of the crowd, but in the silent, persistent pursuit of a dream. Though Nikola Tesla departed from this world in quiet solitude, his legacy, like the alternating current he championed, continues to flow through every corner of our modern lives. His ideas, once dismissed as fantastical, now form the very bedrock of our technological civilization. The world he envisioned, a world powered by invisible forces, connected by unseen waves, is the world we inhabit today. His influence is not just a historical footnote. It is a living, breathing presence in the hum of our devices, the glow of our screens, and the silent efficiency of our power grids. His most profound contribution, alternating current AC, is the standard for power transmission and distribution worldwide. Every time you flip a light switch, charge your phone, or power an appliance, you are benefiting from Tesla's genius. The induction motor, his elegant solution to converting electrical energy into mechanical motion, remains the workhorse of industry, powering everything from factory machinery to household appliances. His early work on radio laid the foundation for wireless communication, paving the way for everything from broadcasting to Wi-Fi and cellular networks. He was the architect of the invisible infrastructure that underpins our interconnected world. In recent decades, Tesla's cult following has grown exponentially, transforming him from a forgotten genius into a revered icon. Modern-day recognition has finally caught up to his extraordinary foresight. He is celebrated not just for his inventions, but for his unwavering vision, his commitment to scientific truth, and his belief in the potential of humanity. His name adorns electric car companies, scientific institutions, and countless books and documentaries. He is seen as a symbol of innovation, a testament to the power of independent thought, and a reminder that true genius often walks a path less traveled. Ending with a soothing reflection, we can truly appreciate the profound impact of this quiet visionary. The sparks he dreamed at midnight, those flashes of inspiration that illuminated his mind in the stillness of the night, still glow in every corner of our world. They are in the gentle hum of the refrigerator, the bright light of the street lamp, the invisible waves that carry our voices across continents. His legacy is not just in the machines he built, but in the way he taught us to see the unseen, to harness the invisible, and to dream of a future where energy is abundant and accessible to all. And so, as you drift into a peaceful sleep, surrounded by the quiet hum of the modern world, remember Nikola Tesla. Remember the boy who saw lightning in the night sky and dreamed of bringing its power to humanity. Remember the man who walked alone, guided by the whispers of invention, and who left behind a legacy of eternal sparks. His dreams continue to light our way, a gentle reminder that even in the deepest darkness, the light of ingenuity and vision will always find a way to shine. Sleep well, knowing that the world is a brighter place because of the dreams of Nikola Tesla.